Hi, hello everyone. It seems like we're having lots of people logging on. It's lovely to see you guys during our lunch times. So MarTech has rolled around once again. Time is flying by when you're having fun. Um, so just in case you haven't joined us before, my name is Daniela and I'm part of the team here at the Oxford College of Marketing. I'd just like to note that this webinar is being recorded, so it can be sent out afterwards as well. Today we've got MarTech Club, like I mentioned, hosted by Robin. The session will be on what is MarTech, an exploration of tools and impact. And just in case you weren't aware of who Robin was, Robin McMillan is a self-proclaimed nerd who's put on this earth to help organizations and individuals learn and understand more about their marketing data, demystify MarTech, and make complicated things less complicated. So she's qualified to lead today's talk, and how it typically works throughout the sessions is you're more than welcome to drop questions or comments throughout the chat. We're more than happy to make the session as interactive as possible. Robin will lead with her presentation, and then there'll be plenty of time for questions throughout or at the end. So yeah, Robin, feel free to take over.
Thank you so much, Daniela. Okay, so today is one of my favorite nerdy sessions, and that is because we go right back to the basics. We strip away all of that trendiness, all of that necessity of adding as many platforms as possible into our MarTech stack. And we go back to what MarTech is, how we grow a stack. And then I'm going to talk to you about MarTech in the wild. And what I mean about that is I'm going to walk you through how some of the brands that we know, we recognize, have used MarTech processes to actually improve their conversion, their ROI. Alongside that, I'm going to give you 5 things that you can go away and try straight after this session to actually see the benefits that MarTech can bring you, but also to move forward in that direction of utilizing MarTech more. And this is technology that I know you're going to have. So it's not going to be like I'm expecting you to go out and implement 23 systems to actually get benefits out of this. We're looking at 5 simple ways you can get more out of the technology you currently have. So in today's session, we will be looking at the kind of core components of a strong MarTech stack, real world examples of MarTech, and how to evaluate what technology is truly right for you, your team, or your organization. So we're gonna go right back to the beginning. We're gonna really kind of delve into what MarTech is today, because I use the term like it's something I've known since I was like a toddler. But I recognize that these terminologies, this jargon that lives within this technology side of marketing can actually be pretty frustrating. So I'm going to give you benchmarks. I'm going to give you kind of the true kind of definitions of this technology. So MarTech, yeah, it is short for marketing technology. This refers to the software, the tools, anything that helps us as marketers plan, execute, manage, and analyze marketing campaigns and your overall strategy. Yeah. So this includes everything from customer relationship management to email marketing platforms, data analytics tools, social media schedulers, and even things now that are AI powered, AI supported, or AI based personalization engines. It is the platforms that we interact with on the daily. So whether that's your HubSpot, your Salesforce, your kind of Hootsuite, the back end of kind of Meta, it is anything where data is generated, collected, or utilized to make a decision within our marketing processes. And you may be going, well, Robin, there's so many other platforms within an organization. Yeah. So you often have like your sales stack too, and you have your organizational stack of platforms. But what we're focusing on is the platforms that are embedded in our processes that drive our marketing forward, allow us to understand our marketing, and also those ones that collect data about our customers. Yeah. So during the session today, if you do have any questions, please drop them in and I will make sure we get those answered before the end of the session. So why should we pay attention to that technology that kind of supports our marketing efforts? A lot of the time when I talk to marketers or I go into an organization, what I find is that these platforms are kind of just a way to do things. Yeah, it's just the way that you put content onto your website. It's just the way that you kind of connect your CRM to your email platform. But actually, there is so much more benefit to when we actually drill down and understand what these platforms do and how we can use them to drive things like conversion forward. Because that's the aim of the game, right? As marketers, we put out content into the world so somebody finds it, and then we expect them to go along that journey. But what supports that journey? It's technology and data at the end of the day. So the first reason we should put this on our Christmas card list and make sure that we pay attention to it is efficiency and automation. The expectations of our audiences, our clients, our communities, like it is only ever going up. People want to be like discovered and spoken to as though we know them like they're our best friends from brands, yeah? And what MarTech allows us to do is actually automate repetitive tasks like those things like email sending, social media posting, and reporting, because we have so many other things that we need to do. Yeah, we have so much more things that are dealt with in strategy, expertise, and experience. Let the marketing technology do that kind of low-level grunt work for you. It also allows us to truly make decisions on data. And what I mean by that is not just collect it and store it in Google Ads in our audience segments. Yeah. It actually allows us to make iterances and changes based on the data it collects and analyzes in real time. We haven't got the time, energy, or resources to analyze that data as quickly as these automation and these AI-driven platforms can. So tools like your Google Analytics, your HubSpot, your Salesforce, they're giving real-time insights. Why are we leaving that in these tools and platforms? Why aren't we connecting that to other areas within your MarTech stack so that you can have processes, data at the fingertips to make better decisions moving forward and decisions quickly? Marketing is wonderful, but what we're not very good at sometimes is acting upon the trends and information and insights that the data allows us to have. And by allowing platforms to kind of do that automatically and to iterate automatically, it's really powerful. Those data-driven decisions will automatically optimize things that we're kind of doing. Customer experience, it's going to be improved because MarTech enables consistent, personalized experiences across multiple channels. Technology is one of the only ways that we can do this seamlessly and without a team of like 40 marketers all doing kind of work at the same time. So think about in this kind of reason why we should pay attention, it's dynamic content, chatbots, personalized recommendations, automated customer journeys, those kind of things. It gives us competitive advantage because being ahead with the technology allows us to stay up to date with expectations and tools at our advantage. It allows us to scale. And this is a huge one, this cross-channel marketing integration. So platforms allow us to coordinate efforts across email, social media, paid ads, SEO, and kind of from every single platform that we kind of either put content out into or collect data from within the marketing processes. So this is kind of why we should pay attention. And as I said, I think platforms often get seen as a way to do something. So it's a way to kind of connect or fulfill a task, but actually the data and the kind of potential that is sat within these platforms can improve so many other areas of our marketing. Just as a slight kind of insight into this, what percentage of Salesforce's kind of toolkit on average does a SME, so a business which is like 20 to 100 kind of employees, utilize within marketing? This was from their own report at the end of last year. So what percentage of Salesforce actually gets used by an organization?
I'm going to bet around 30%.
13. Good 3, but
Ooh.
13. So there's so much opportunity held within these platforms that is just not being utilized, because the mindset is this platform is to do something rather than to benefit, iterate, and kind of engage within the whole marketing strategy. So when you're looking at your kind of technology, they kind of sit within 4 key areas. And the whole idea is to kind of do a pick and mix across these 4 ideas until you get your perfect candy bag, yeah? The areas that they kind of sit in are important to note and understand what platform you're using sits within what area, because you need a balance across these areas. So the first one is management. So what do those platforms do? What do those MarTech platforms do? They organize and streamline marketing operations, workflows, and customer data. If you're trying to validate the platform, you can think, what is the key focus of a management kind of platform? And that is efficiency, automation, and campaign control. So it's about having this control over a process. So if I give you an example, so you can go away and be like, oh yeah, I've got something that does that. It's your like CRM systems where they're managing customer relationships and data. It's your project management where they're coordinating team tasks and timelines. So that's management. Yeah, it's pretty simple, that one. So it's this one over here, quite a big section, often sits at the heart of your kind of MarTech processes. Then we have social optimization. So what it does, it enhances social media performance and engagement. Its key focus, though, is content scheduling, community management, and performance tracking. Yeah. So that could be Hootsuite, Buffer, planning, posting, and analyzing social. Yeah. It could be social listening. So Brandwatch or Sprout. I think it's Sprout Social now. To monitor brand mentions, sentiments, and trends. And then you can also have things like influencer platforms in here, depending on how you outreach and what are your kind of processes with influencers. So you can have Upfluence and Aspire. So you can discover and manage influencer partnerships. So this is this section here. Yeah. The next we have reach. And what you often find is a lot of people have a lot of platforms for reach. So this is where we're trying to expand our brand visibility, acquire new leads, new customers. And the key focus here is advertising, SEO, email campaigns, and content distribution. So your examples in here could be your ad tech platforms, so Google Ads, Meta Ads, where you're running and optimizing your paid campaigns, your SEO tools, and your email marketing. So let's have a look at if we imagine it like a piece of pie, we've got our management slice. So we're controlling the processes with these platforms. We have social optimization, because a lot of the outreach we do out of marketing technology is digital and social. And then we also have our reach platforms kind of for everything else. What are we using to manage how we are connecting with our ideal clients? Yeah. And then we have one that sometimes gets a little forgotten, but actually is one of the most powerful, and that is insight. So this is where we take the data out of all of these gorgeous platforms, because of course we've connected them correctly, right? Yes. And we're making sure the data flows between them so that we have an overarching understanding. Yes, of course. So this insight provides data, analytics, and reporting to inform our strategy. The key focus when you're deciding on what kind of platform to use for this is we're understanding our audience behavior and our campaign performance. Yeah. So these are examples like our analytics platforms, our customer insights tools, our attribution tools. So when we're building or evaluating, like checking in on what we've already got, we need to try and make sure that we have tools from all 4 categories. So we've got a well-rounded strategy, execution, and measurement within our MarTech stack. If we miss out on any of these areas, your MarTech won't be able to perform as optimally as it could do, because all of these are integrated processes. What you may also find is, let's take Salesforce, because that's a big wedge of a platform, right? We've got a bit of management in Salesforce. We've got a bit of social optimization. We've also got some reporting that Salesforce can do, and also reach. So it's also important to recognize that some platforms do multiple things, but does that extra kind of additional skill that it has within the platform, is it niche enough? Is it good enough? Does it do it in the right way to serve the rest of your MarTech stack? So even though the reporting may be good at a Salesforce, is there actually something better that you should be using that is more suited to why you're using the marketing technology in the first place? So as you can tell, it's pretty important, right? It's kind of the backbone that drives our marketing processes overall, realistically. Helps us do our jobs better, faster, stronger, like that song. And instead of guessing what works, it gives us the understanding of our audience to be able to track what's performing, automate the repetitive stuff, so we can actually focus on the creative and strategic side of things. Yeah. So whether it's sending the right message to the right person at the right time, or seeing how a campaign is kind of doing in real time, MarTech is what makes it all possible. Yeah, it's the way that we kind of have a true understanding of our marketing outreach. And it's what keeps all of the aspects of our marketing connected and able to grow and kind of move forward. Because realistically, when you consider the amount of platforms that could be within your MarTech kind of processes, without having something to glue it all together and allow the data to flow between, you're not really getting the most out of the platforms individually. It should be an ecosystem. And that's what marketing technology allows you to do. So I've used the term already, but a MarTech stack is the collection of marketing technologies a business uses to plan, execute, manage, and measure. Yeah. It's all of those platforms and tools that work together to support different parts of your marketing process, from attracting and engaging to analyzing performance and optimizing campaigns overall. So this is kind of what HubSpot uses within its kind of processes. Of course, it's HubSpot. But they actually shows you that realistically, there are other platforms that need to be integrated. There is not one platform does all, or else we would all move to that, because it would be the simplest and it would be the most opportunistic, because all the data would go to the same place. So making sure that everything connects into the different reasons that you're using that platform is also incredibly important. So what could be in your stack? So very, very kind of simply, it's your CRM. So where does your data from your customers go into? It's your email marketing and automation. Where does that, when that individual comes into that CRM, what happens? How do we connect with them? What platform do we use for that? How do we bring people into the CRM? Social media, listening. How do we know if our marketing is delivering any sort of ROI? Analytics and reporting. How do we get our content in front of those that we want to work with, purchase from us, or all those kind of beautiful words? Advertising and SEO. So it's your digital toolkit. It's anything that you log into, utilize, or kind of work with within your workflows. It's really important to recognize, though, that each tool has a specific job, but together, that is where we get the integrated system that helps to drive results and grow the business. Now, just as like a side note here, there's something called the Stackies, which is a MarTech stack kind of competition. And this is where loads of organizations kind of make a very beautiful visual of their MarTech stack. And what you can actually do is just Google the Stackies and then go and have a look at what huge brands and what platforms they're using within their MarTech stack. So it might give you some ideas of how to categorize the platforms that you already utilize or what you could be missing. So in here, the Earth Networks, they've also done it alongside their customer journey. So how do they attract, how do they engage, and how do they analyze their kind of marketing processes and data within that? They're very beautiful, the Stackies are. It happens every year, and then you can go and have a look at what different organizations are using. So I'm really sorry, but I can't give you a template for your MarTech stack. I can't go away and say to you, oh, this is the one size fits all solution for this is the CRM you need. This is what you need in your reach. This is what you need in your insights. Because they're different from one business to another, because you have different unique goals. You have different audiences, you have different budgets, you have different workflows. And even though you may not think it, for example, if you are a small company, you're an entrepreneur, you're part of a very small agency startup, you may be like, I don't even have a MarTech stack. But of course you do, because your Facebook feeds into your kind of CRM. Your email kind of connection feeds into your CRM. You have multiple marketing platforms that you integrate with that all work together. Yeah. Or they should be working together. They shouldn't be siloed. So, like I said, a startup running lean will need very different tools compared to a global enterprise with multiple teams and markets. Yeah. And you need to truly understand why you're doing your marketing in the first place. And you'd be like, Robin, we do marketing to attract people into our world so they buy from us. Yes, of course. But actually, what are your organizational goals? What is your marketing doing to support those organizational goals? And then what technology do you need to support your kind of marketing? That is the role that you should those are the questions you should always be asking. Yeah. Because our marketing should not just be happening. It should be aligning with why the organization needs the marketing to happen. And then we need to make sure we've got the right tools in place, the right data capture, the right processes to facilitate that marketing in the best kind of way. So I do apologize there that I can't tell you exactly what your MarTech stack should look like, but it should have aspects of those 4 areas, and you should be able to understand where the data is coming from and how the data is being utilized within those different platforms. So we're going to go into the heart of the MarTech stack now and talk briefly about the platforms that kind of drive the most data churn. These platforms make decisions based on the data we feed it. Yeah. So in the center, it makes sense that the CRM sits there. Yeah. The CRM is considered a MarTech tool because it plays that fundamental role in managing and maximizing marketing efforts linked to our individuals that have either visited us, worked with us, abandoned cart, you know, all of that kind of consumer data that we hold within our CRM. So why is this at the heart of the MarTech stack? It's because it's your single source of truth. This is where as much data as possible needs to go to inform you about the individual who has purchased or is potentially going to purchase from you. And it connects information from all of your channels, email, social, website, sales. And it gives a complete view of each customer. That is where we can then do things like segmentation really well, because we truly know what that individual needs. And we can do personalized marketing past just hello first name, actually about what they truly want. We can even know in some instances that they prefer suede to leather when it comes to a handbag. Yeah. And that is how we stay relevant now. The CRM is at the center because that is the fuel for automation and targeting. So most marketing tools like email platforms, ad tools, and automation software, that pulls data from the CRM to trigger something else happening somewhere else. Dependent on the data that is collected in your CRM, you trigger campaigns, you segment audiences, you personalize content. Without that CRM to tag that information to an individual, an ID, however it works in your CRM, targeting becomes a guesswork, and we are just spattering jelly at a wall, hoping something will stick for somebody. It can't be that way anymore. It also allows us to have sales and marketing alignment. So in a lot of organizations, the marketing team will also use Salesforce as well as the sales team. So that CRM is a bridge that kind of closes that gap. And then it becomes much easier for you to measure ROI, qualify leads, and focus efforts where they truly actually count, right? We get a better customer experience. We're centralizing communication. So we have a consistent message, a consistent branding. And in reality, this is the brain. This is where that starts that process. And then we have scalability. The CRM helps maintain that structure and continuity. So it makes sense that something like this is also in the center of our MarTech stack. It's where we collect the information and then where those other platforms make decisions from. They trigger that response, right? So what else could you have at the center? You could have something like a CDP, which is a customer data platform, which is kind of a way where you have, again, one point of truth. But realistically, if you don't have something like that in already, you can just use the CRM to kind of move things forward. So then moving out from the center, and once that CRM, you have positioned it within your MarTech stack, the rest of the stack kind of builds out around it to support those key marketing functions like communication, automation, analysis, and optimization. So we have things like marketing automation tools where we trigger personalized campaigns based on CRM data. So that could be ActiveCampaign. We have our email marketing platforms whose purpose is to create, send, track targeted email campaigns. So we can have things like MailChimp in there. Your social media management tools, where we schedule, monitor, and analyze. So that could be Buffer or Later. And then we have our analytics and attribution tools. So all of these are either feeding data in to the CRM or being triggered from something that happens within the CRM at the very base level of MarTech. Yeah. So we have a confession within the marketing kind of sector, and that is that we love to collect data like gold. We collect so much information about the individuals that like connect with anything that we do. And MarTech is one way that allows us to actually use the data that we collect rather than just store it into various platforms. Because data without action is just that, it is storage. So we collect so much data: website visits, email clicks, purchase behavior, social engagement. But without the right tools, without the right energy, the right workflows, that data just sits there, and our pile of unused kind of data grows. So MarTech actually allows us to use that data by organizing, analyzing, and activating it across your campaigns. The data that we collect also enables real-time personalization. Because MarTech connects data from multiple sources to build a complete picture, we can then deliver the right message at the right time on the right channel, which dramatically improves engagement and conversion. So for example, if you receive an email from, say, I don't know, you're applying for your university, and they send you an email. It's like, hey, you were interested in our university. Here's all of our website to look at. You're probably going to be like, well, okay, I'll in my very busy day, I'll see where I can slot that in. But if they're like, oh, you were really interested in this area within our website, the sciences, you were looking at these a little bit, would you like to come to an open day about this, a digital or an in-person one, whichever's easiest for you, and giving them a way to connect with that solution that they were obviously looking for in the first place. You're more likely as a consumer to go with number two, right? You're being fed the solution rather than just another way to waste your time within that kind of process. Automation turns data into action. So with marketing automation, you can trigger emails, ads, or content based on user behavior. So this is where we're actually utilizing that data about abandoned cart or retargeting someone that hasn't quite made it through the purchase system. And MarTech makes that possible at scale. It happens without you even having to be there. Another thing that the data that we kind of sit on, like this glorious dragon is that it actually helps us to understand what is working. So many organizations do marketing the same way that they have done for years, purely because it's worked, right? It's allowed them to make enough money to continue to grow, to hire. But actually, truly understanding your analytics allows you to optimize. And with that optimization, not only do we make marketing that does more for us over time, it also allows us to allocate resources in a much more positive way within the marketing sector. So without MarTech, data is just noise. It is just treasure that we sit on. It never gets spent, never gets used. But with it, you can actually listen, learn, and act, which is exactly what marketing technology allows us to do. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to walk you through 5 different ways you can use MarTech to increase conversion straight off this call. Yeah. So one of the biggest ways to use MarTech incredibly quickly is to do personalized email nurture sequences. Now, this is not just about segmenting as female, age, or things like that. So the goal here is to move leads down a funnel with targeted behavior based on email content. So the process, you would collect your email addresses via your website form or gated content, for example. The segment that you would use, the tagging system that you would use, would not be based on generic demographic. You would actually pull data about interests, actions, or source, if that's relevant. You would then create automated email workflows triggered by those kind of demographics. We would personalize those emails, not just with name, product interest, but also with specific recommendations based on that information that we've pulled from the website. We would let the email system kind of decide what the best content would be, what the best subject would be, and then we would track opens, clips, and conversions. So in this kind of process, we're utilizing the data that can be captured now within different systems. We're utilizing the email kind of automation triggers, and then we're also using insights. So if you have any sort of CRM that collects data from your website, you have Google Analytics, an email delivery system, and a way to track it. So you could go back to Google Analytics. You can do this straight away. What I'm trying to kind of emphasize here is we need to be collecting data that is not just of the norm. So we're looking at a way to collect additional data and information from that. So you could use your HubSpot, your Salesforce. You can then use your email delivery system like MailChimp. You can have automation, for example, with an active campaign if you want to do a longer kind of email system. And then you can use Google Analytics or HubSpot or Salesforce. These are standard platforms that we have within these kind of processes. Organizations fail to personalize on more than a top level kind of answer at the moment. Website personalization. This is one of my favorites. It's really pushing forward at the moment. So actually having your website alter to deliver a tailored on-site experience to increase engagement and conversions. So the process will be here. We track that visitor behavior in real time. So pages viewed, those kind of things. We would create audience, that word escaped me, audience segments. So things like first time or returning visitor. And then we would display dynamic content. So what this would allow us to do is if that person came back, the website would auto adapt. Or if somebody with a similar kind of information and process of finding the website came, it would also trigger that change too. So the marketing technology involved here will be things like Google Analytics, so we can track that behavior and give that individual an ID and a segmentation. You can use personalization, things like dynamic yield or Optimizely. And then, of course, you need to have access to your CMS, so your Webflow or your WordPress. And then you would have kind of CRO tools like Google. So just by using the technology or the free technology like Google Analytics that is available, we would track an individual. We would either auto adapt the website for their returning journey if they return, or if somebody with a similar data profile came, so you can match this against somebody who purchased quite a lot, for example, we can then have the website auto optimized for that individual as well. Again, using not many platforms, 3, 4, and often platforms that we already have integrated. Then we have retargeting campaigns based on CRM and web behavior. So we're bringing them back. They've got distracted when we're bringing them back because we want them to purchase from us or move forward in us. So the process here will be to track website visitors and CRM interactions. So again, product viewers, cart abandoners. We would then sync that audience directly with our ad platforms. We would create those personalized ads. You can now get that auto happening with AI, and then we would retarget. And by connecting it in real time to your kind of CRM, this would happen automatically. So that individual would be brought back quicker into your world. So your marketing technology involved here would be your HubSpot, your CRM, your Salesforce, your ad tech, and then you can have sync tools if necessary. Yeah. We then have lead scoring and sales handoff. So this is where we're converting our high intent leads faster by prioritizing and handing them off to sales quicker. So in a lot of CRMs, you can assign scores to leads based on their behavior. We would then set scoring, I'm going to sneeze. Oh, bless me. We would then set scoring thresholds for marketing leads. So within Salesforce, for example, if somebody visits a website once, they get a little thing twice, 3 times, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, this person needs to be targeted. The system can target, or it can get handed off to sales to contact. And then we would automatically alert those kind of sales team where necessary. And then we would send followed up emails based on CRM and behavior. So then we would have Salesforce, Marketo, kind of things like HubSpot dashboards if you wanted to. So we're kind of just needing a way to track the individual So that will be through your CRM and the different platforms that collect the data about these individuals, and then make decisions based on how interested they appear or they seem. And then finally, the last one is conversion optimized landing pages. So the goal here is to capture more leads with frictionless, high converting landing pages. So the process: build campaign specific landing pages with a single focus. So I'm going to sneeze again. Oh, bless me. Download or a sign up. Use smart forms that autofill known fields. Run A/B tests in the background on headlines, images, and CTAs. And then use heat maps and behavior tracking to analyze drop-off points. And then we connect the form data to the CRM instantly for a follow-up. So we're getting the information that we know that this individual is really interested in this purpose for the landing page, but we're also getting all of that data on what they did on the landing page to be able to inform how you move forward. So let's look at some MarTech in the real world. So Sephora, they enhanced customer experience with augmented reality. They did this kind of AR technology through your mobile app, allowing customers to virtually try on makeup products. I fell for this hook, line, and sinker, because there is no way on a Saturday I'm going to Sephora. Yeah. So this allowed me at home to try on those new things that I wanted to have a look at. And I definitely purchased way more than I should, because it addressed the kind of problem and kind of challenge of online shoppers who hesitate to purchase without trying the products on first. So there was a 36% increase in conversions and a 65% increase in basket size. And I swear that is because I cannot feel how heavy my basket was. Yeah. So it's just about demonstrating the immersive power of technology in e-commerce, these personalized experiences. Of course, we've all fell foul to Netflix's personalizing content recommendations. So Netflix uses advanced data analytics to track me as a user and my preferences, enabling the platform to offer personalized content recommendations. Now, you can do that very simply at any size of an organization with very basic MarTech platforms. But that data-driven approach resulted in a 25% increase in subscriber retention and a 130% increase in content consumption last year. So this shows you the effectiveness of personalization in outreach. And that personalization is only possible when we collect the data about those individuals. Yeah. And that's what MarTech platforms do. McDonald's implemented mass personalization through AI very recently, and they went through their kind of app phase. But what they did was they integrated AI into it so you could create personalized content. So this is creating customer interaction through outreach. It's incredibly powerful. Then we have Amazon. They do wonderful things with optimizing advertising campaigns with artificial intelligence. So they employ AI to optimize the advertising campaigns almost at a one-to-one marketing kind of process now, delivering personalized and relevant ads to customers. So they, by using these machine learning algorithms and kind of AI processes, middle of last year, they achieved a 50% increase in click-through rates. That's huge. Yeah, that is a really big, because they were able to create this content that spoke to an individual one-to-one. Yeah, and it was a huge change for them. And then we have Airbnb, and they create these personalized experiences through data analytics. So it's personalizing and analyzing behavior and preferences. So by recommending accommodations and experiences, they had a 40% increase in bookings from returning clients. Now, we all know that it's cheaper to have somebody who's already bought something from us to buy from us again. And so that's what they really lent into. And they had a 30% increase in customer satisfaction because they were just offering them things that they knew they were going to like. So of course the customer's going to be happy, right? So it's all relative and all wonderful. So this is just some examples of kind of MarTech in the real world, things that you have experienced as a consumer. And what you can see is the personalization, the understanding of the audience, the optimization that is possible by using that data that is collected is what fueled all of these kind of increases in ROI, in conversion overall. So how do you choose the right MarTech tool? They're not just shiny gadgets and platforms, AI powered this, AI powered that you swap in and out. The right platform can streamline your kind of operations, unlock real-time insights, and keep you compliant, ultimately driving revenue, because that's the whole goal. The wrong one can create data silos, waste resources, and actually hinder your ability to understand your customer. So we need to choose wisely. We need to align the tool with our strategy, our team capabilities, our own tech understanding, our budget, and what already exists. Yeah. And what happens is, when as an organization grows, we have this beautiful streamlined marketing stack. And then we get more employees and more kind of teams. So different platforms are added. And then something new comes onto the market, and then someone thinks it's really cool to add that in. So then we get a little bit wider. And we actually end up with a lot of overarching, redundant, and kind of wasteful platforms within our MarTech stack. The more streamlined, the more understandable, the more connected it is, the better it's going to work. I recently stripped 211 platforms out of a organization's MarTech stack, and they saved nearly 14,000 a month just on platform spend. So when we're looking at choosing the right tool, we want to look at its impact. So this is just the last bit of the session today. And I just want you to go away and really consider the platforms that you're using within your marketing technology. So let's start with I, that's the integration. Ensure the tool easily connects with your existing systems. It should connect. It should be the connective kind of world that we're looking at. So data flows where it needs to with minimal headaches. Yeah. Don't just be adding in something that makes everything else not work as well. We then have the measurement. So does it have robust reporting and analytics? If not, does it feed into your insights platforms? If you can't measure results, we can't refine, or we can't trigger a response from that. And then we have performance. Your platform must perform well under pressure. So it must be able to deal with large audiences, peak traffic, complex campaigns without slowing anything down. Or your site, for example, you can't slow things down. And then we have adaptability. Marketing evolves quickly, so we need to pick a solution that can keep pace with changing customer behaviors and emerging channels. And then we have compliance. So regulations regarding AI, GDPR, and all data and things like that are only going to continue to become more complex. And data privacy matters more than ever. Yeah. So make sure the platform aligns with relevant regulations like GDPR, CCPA, and helps us to maintain trust. And then also a team fit. Now, you may be saying to me, we don't have a team. It's just me. I do all of the marketing. That's okay. Does it fit for you? Does it work for you? Tools don't work in isolation. So we need to make sure that it's got a good interface, strong support resources, and what is the support system like for you as a consumer of that platform. So today we've explored many wonderful things about MarTech and marketing technology. And it's not just about the tools. It's actually understanding how you connect the platforms that you interact with your marketing objectives that are supporting your organizational goals. And it's actually about transforming how we connect with customers through smart data use, personalized experiences, and things like automation. So please let me know if you have any questions about MarTech, MarTech Stack, anything that we've kind of spoke about today.
Okay, great. Thank you, Robin. Everyone is welcome to pop questions in the chat. So we have one from Olha Shlenko. Her question is in regards to AI automated personalized content campaigns for Amazon. Does the AI tool also include a ready-to-go actual campaign content creation? Are there now any tools that create automated content like videos, text for campaigns based on business needs and target audience?
Yes, there are many. So what generally happens is, for example, within a social media scheduler, it can now give you iterations or examples of what content it predicts that the system will, that the individual will connect with, or a similar individual will connect with, or the person you're retargeting will connect with. So what you'll find is a lot of like the ads platforms, the ad maintenance platforms, those kind of things, they automatically have an AI kind of image creator, text creator internally in those systems. So you can decide to let that iterate and push out that ad for you, or you can use that as a base of the information and then kind of let it go out into the world once you've had a human interaction. Videos are a little bit less than image, just because it's a more expensive technology, but you can integrate systems like that. You can also have it so that like the information comes into the CRM, it then gets sent to your analytics kind of platform, and then due to that you can then send those ideas to a generator like an image, video, or a text generator platform, which then pulls it into your social or your ads. So it's all about that ecosystem. But yeah, there's loads that exist regarding kind of tools that automatically now create the content for you depending on the data.
Okay, does anyone have any further questions regarding today's content? We have a
I
few
should have
minutes
worn
to
my
cover.
glasses because I always end up like this at the end.
Don't worry, Robin, I can read them out for you.
That's perfect.
You don't need to see. As long as one of us have our glasses on, we're all good. Okay, that's great. So I've just been popping a few links into the chat. So if you're interested in us as an organization or studying one of our qualifications with us, you can click through to the Oxford College of Marketing. What we offer our students varies from essentially qualifications that you can upskill, which are a bit more short form, to longer form, like the CIM diploma. What we typically recommend is the course that I popped in for you, which is the AI Accredited Award. It's quite short. It takes around 6 weeks to complete. And then you can stack up the qualification to the diploma at a later date if you're interested. Right now, AI is obviously a buzz topic, covering a multitude of trends and things that are going on in terms of technology as well, to keep you updated and upskilled so that you can be competitive in terms of your knowledge as well as what's going on with the job market if you are looking to change over roles. But yeah, you're more than welcome to book a one-to-one if you'd like to have a chat about that with us. Or alternatively, we do have our virtual open evenings that come up quite regularly. Our next one will be coming up on the 26th of June, and it'll be from 5 to 6. And that's just an opportunity to learn a little bit more about us, who we are as an organization, and how we can support you as marketers in the industry currently with all of these changes.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. Yeah.
Does anyone have any further questions? If not, would you be happy showing your QR code link for the Substack? I think
Yes, I'll
that's
put it
quite
in as
useful.
a link.
That's perfect. That's always super useful so that if you do have any further questions, you can always reach out to Robin as well, or as well as access the slides, right?
Yes, so I pop in there the different PDFs of the notes that I've kind of gone through today. And also I put in any kind of regulatory change for AI in there, and you can also ask any kind of questions, of course, within that
Thank you
kind of
so much,
space.
Robin.
And it's a totally free space. It's just ran and supported by the college, so it's all safe.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Robin. So that's
That's not a
super
problem.
handy if you'd like to learn a little bit more in terms of content, and also have access to the slides, ask Robin any questions. But yeah, otherwise, it was a great session. And typically, in case anyone was wondering, we will have another MarTech upcoming in 2 weeks' time. We run them every 2 weeks.
It's quite a
And
fun one.
yeah,
It's
what's the topic?
about the new AI system in Canva.
Okay, that sounds
So
very interesting.
yeah, so now you can create 40 pieces of content in 8 minutes. So we're going to go through processes
Wow.
like that.
Wow, that's quite
I'm
interesting.
not saying it's good content, but you can. As always
That's
is
the,
a caveat, right?
that's the only thing to consider with AI, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. But it amazes me like the what we're now able to do compared to 6 months ago.
Yeah,
It is moving so very
yeah,
quickly, actually.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially with how the one thing I've noticed is a lot of my friends have been going for feeds. You know, like you go for your own algorithm and a lot of AI generated content is just appearing now out of the blue.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's no, I don't think I was expecting it to be quite that fast in terms of how it's just like infiltrated absolutely everything.
Yeah, and also fake products.
Yeah.
And so what some organizations are doing are they're creating fake products to see how interested people are and then
Wow.
making the product to sell.
That's fascinating. I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
so
I
they're
know that I'm
almost like A/B testing in real life, like an experiment.
mm, that's
Yeah.
fascinating. Do you
Yeah.
know which organizations have been running that?
Yeah, it's many of the big clothes brands that you well
Oh,
know.
smart. Very, very
Yeah.
smart.
And then
Very
they're just
smart.
not making the stuff that people aren't trying to search for.
That's what
Yeah, but I
I
do
would
feel
have
like it's a
never
little bit of
thought
a
that.
social experiment in
Yeah. Yeah, I know that
yeah.
they're making fake people now. That's what scared
Yeah.
me.
Deep fakes are a huge thing.
Yeah.
And
Like,
we'll probably do a
yeah,
session on deep fakes and I'll show you how to make
definitely.
one.
That would be very, very interesting, but very scary, I'm sure.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of not so great data about deep
Yeah.
fakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But otherwise, if there's nothing else from anyone in the chat, it's been great spending our lunchtimes with you today. Like I said, take advantage of all of the links in the chat. Feel free to reach out to Robin if you have any further questions. Use the Substack link. Do book a one-to-one if you'd like a chat with me about anything to do with upskilling in terms of your marketing, and hopefully see you at the next one.
Yes, have a really wonderful day. It's been a pleasure as always. But it is a
Yes,
Tuesday, not a Monday, so I need to remember that.
yes, yeah, yes, it is Tuesday.
Okay, have a really great day.
Bye. Bye, everyone.